I have the pleasure once again to interview one of the greatest guitar players in the world today. I can say that because Mr. John Petrucci is right next to me here on Zoom. How are you, John?
I'm doing well. Thank you for that introduction.
It's great. It's great to be chatting with you again. And well, we're really excited about the fact that you guys are coming to Brazil again this year. And for the first time playing Rock in Rio, how does that feel? How are you looking forward to that?
I really am. You know, we've been coming to Brazil for a long time, for I don't know, over 20 years, 25 years, something like that. We've never played Rock in Rio. It's one of the most famous, biggest festivals in the world, and of course, we've seen a lot of footage playing it. You know, one of my favorite band of all time, Rush, playing Rock in Rio, and of course the great Iron Maiden, who is going to be there with us that night. So it's a thrill for us to finally be playing that festival. It's going to be amazing.
You still enjoy playing festivals? Do you get the time to see other bands, or it's something that you just do your show and you leave? Right?
Yeah. A little bit, it's usually you don't really get to see a lot, honestly, because a lot of times the festival sort of setting, it's not really conducive to being there all day. You have to kind of just get there a little shortly before you play and then leave. But some of them I get to see other bands. It depends. It kind of depends on how big they are and where they are and how it's situated. But when the situation does happen, it is nice to actually get to see a concert yourself while you're on tour. It's great.
And you're playing São Paulo as well. For I don't know how many times you've been here, but you have any special memories of our small little town? I suppose São Paulo is one of your main markets. I just saw on Spotify it's the number 3 city on Spotify that most listens to Dream Theater. So you have any special memories from our little city, small town?
Well, you're small town, right? I don't think so. Well, I do remember that from the first time we went there, it was amazing. We kind of never experienced that before as an American band coming to South America and coming to Brazil. The audience in Sao Paulo was like overwhelming. It was amazing. So I do remember that. Of course, I remember, just the city is overwhelming as well. Just so huge and so sprawling, but great food, amazing people, weather's hot, and a lot of people that really relate to Dream Theater music. And so we've developed a really close, strong relationship with people from Brazil, and the fans in Sao Paulo are phenomenal. And like you said, you can see it in our career, the loyalty that Brazilian fans have for Dream Theater music. It's really special.
That's great. Since you guys started, I mean, you always been considered a progressive metal band or a progressive rock band. How do you see the term progressive, and was that like really intentional? Because even though there were other progressive bands before you guys always sounded kind of unique. Were you like influenced by different kinds of sounds or bands, and you played it louder than the bands that influenced you? How did you become Dream Theater?
Right. Well, I mean, I think first of all, it's definitely on purpose. When we got together, we wanted to write music like this. It definitely came naturally. I think it's because, at the time, me, John, Mike, and Kevin, when we got together, we sort of wrote stemming from our influences. So in other words, we were huge fans of Rush, huge fans of Yes, but at the same time, we loved Iron Maiden and Metallica and Ozzy. And so when we'd get together and write music, it would definitely be in a more metal, like sound. Like we always had a metal, like there was always distortion on the guitar and there was always double kicks on the drum. So it had a metal sound, but we loved, just writing longer songs, storytelling, having different sections and parts, because our favorite bands, were doing that. Like we would listen to Close to the Edge or something like that and just love all the different parts they had and movements, almost like classical music. But we always had a heavier sound. So we put it together and that's what naturally came out,
Yeah, that's my favorite Yes album. It's a beautiful piece of music.
Yeah.
And mentioning the event that happened in March this year, earlier in March, all Dream Theater fans were delighted to see Mike Portnoy, our old band colleague from the band, seeing you guys on stage and joining you guys backstage and taking some fun pictures, and you guys look great together, and people were really happy. We as fans were happy just to know that you guys remain friends. What did that meeting mean to you?
It was a great night. Mike and I met each other when we went to Berkeley. We were 18 years old, so we've known each other forever. And even after he left Dream Theater, we've always been friends. I mean, our families are very tight, so we've always done things together. But he never came to a show since he left. So that was the first time he saw a show. And it was great that he sort of reconnected with James, because those guys really, up until then, hadn't reconnected. And it was very special. It was like a great, happy vibe in the room, backstage, like you said, the photos and everything. Just, I love that everybody could be friends and that happiness could be shared around the world. And, people in Brazil and everywhere else could experience that same thing, because that's really what it's all about. We've made a lot of great music together and we all love doing the same thing. And so, we should all be friends. So happy that Mike came to the show last night, and I mean that night, and it was a really special experience. It was great.
Yeah, a few years ago, Iron Maiden, Adrian Smith rejoined Iron Maiden, and they kept 3 guitar players. So I'm just saying that maybe Mangini and Portnoy playing together one day,
right?
Such a bad idea,
Right. Just have a band of all, 3 keyboard players, 3,
Well, Halloween is doing a tour with all their singers, right?
Are they really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's really funny.
That for a few years.
I didn't know that. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about the years that you had to be away from touring and from the everybody did the same.
Yeah.
How hard was it for you, or did you take advantage to do things that you could never do before, like spending time with the family or being able to practice or write music, record without the pressure of touring? How did the pandemic affect you guys or you in personal?
Yeah, well, I mean, 2 things happened. You mentioned that one of them, which is being able to spend a lot of time with the family, because, as a touring musician, I'm away so much, so obviously everything shut down, everybody was home. And so we got to spend a lot of time together, which was fantastic. And then the second thing was I immediately went into the studio, and I was able to do a couple of things that I really wanted to do for a long time, and I never had the time. Like I did a second solo album, and it was 15 years until I was able to do this album. So that was a great experience for me to do a new solo album and release that was called Terminal Velocity. And then speaking of Mike Portnoy, being able to get together with him and Jordan and Tony Levin and doing another Liquid Tension experiment record. It was 22 years or something since the last one. So because everybody was home, there was no touring, nobody had plans, we were able to do that. And then Dream Theater went in the studio after that, and we worked on our 15th album. And we had some beautiful news with that, because the the Alien won a Grammy from that record. So even though the pandemic has been such a dark period for the world and for people, we were able to do some things. I was able to do some things personally, musically, creatively, that were actually very special and very positive and very cool. And who knows if that ever would have happened? You know, I probably would have been still touring and not had the time to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, I have to take advantage of what life brings you, right?
Exactly.
In the best
exactly.
and most positive way. It's amazing what you guys have been doing. And talking about the Grammy, I was going to ask you, you've been nominated a few times before, but that was the first time you won a Grammy. Does that have a special meaning to you? Does that mean a lot to you? I mean, whenever you win, you know, you won greatest guitar player, other occasions. What does these prizes mean to you?
Well, you know, it's interesting. Like, you know, with the different awards or polls and things that are sort of in the music guitar community, it's really nice because you're kind of being recognized by people that appreciate what you're doing on your instrument. So it's very specific, you know, and the guitar community is very supportive that way. So to me, it feels really humbling because I'm just trying to practice and play just like everybody else is trying to do. You know what I mean? So to have that,
you have some special skills.
Well, you know,
I mean, tell you that.
to have people, you know, give you a pat on the back and say, yeah, we really appreciate what you're doing. It's really special. But the Grammy thing is something different because, you know, it's like the sort of like the Oscar of music, right? It's something where you're being recognized in a community of musicians, artists, producers, engineers who are voting for what they think, you know, is the best in that category that year. And so that's something that has a real special meaning as well in a different way. And the fact that, you know, prog bands like ours don't win stuff like Grammys, it makes it really special because you feel proud. You feel like you're sort of representing, like, hey, you know, we're like the kids from Long Island, New York, who like Yes and Metallica and made this band, you know, and to be recognized by that community, which is has such a global sort of recognition, feels really special. It really does. Again, you know, it's something that in the course of a career, to say that you're a Grammy winning artist is really, it's rare. And so we, you know, we're very proud of that. We're very humbled by that as well. Yeah. Very, very cool.
Yeah, you must be. I suppose it also reaches an audience that is not necessarily fans of your band or not that familiar with your music, right?
You're 100% right. And it's the type of thing where it's like, you know, I just got the award today. It actually just came in the mail. The statue came today.
Do you have it there?
I don't have it next to me. No. But you know, you could text to your mom and be like, check it out. You know, your son won a Grammy. Right. I finally made it. You know, whereas the other recognitions are more like they're more niche, like they're more in the career that you're, you know what I mean? The pocket that you're in, as a guitar player or whatever. And whereas this is a more kind of global thing. So
yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
It totally does. How about being a role model to so many kids and so many bands? Do you also take pride of that? And how do you feel when you listen to a band or a new band that you see, that you recognize, oh, those guys probably heard some of my albums in the past because they're doing this or that? How does that feel? Right. Is that also meaningful to you?
Well, listen, you know, when I was getting a teenager playing guitar and, you know, growing up and seeing bands and meeting musicians, you know, who did clinics and stuff like that, it was really important for me as a young player to sort of see and experience how they interacted with people that were fans of theirs, you know what I mean? And, you know, a lot of the moments where I met my heroes were so special. And, even if you fast forward to where I got to play on G3 with Joe and Steve and all these guys for the first time after being so influenced by them, and then become friends, there's a lot of meaning to that. And it spreads, so I place a lot of importance on, giving that type of experience back to people. I think music is meant to be shared. It's like wine, it's meant to be shared. And having a sort of a giving positive attitude about that, I think is important, because that's what I experienced from people that I looked up to, and you never know, some of those people could be the next band that's going to do something great, and you never want to take that for granted. And sure, I hear bands where I'm like, oh, they sound like Dream Theater influence, and it's kind of fun. It's cool, but it's, again, I think it's important to be humble and respectful and share, and just, I always look at it like we're all trying to do the same thing. We all love music. We love playing our instruments. We're creative people, so we love, making stuff musically and performing. And so it's like, try to be non-judgmental and community kind of minded, as far as like the whole musician band community. I think it's really important.
No, you're a very humble man, and very generous as well. As by coincidentally watching Ronnie James Dio documentary last night.
Yeah,
and he was also a very generous man, and that his whole life was so amazing. And
that's awesome.
I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that, but he was such a special guy, and what a powerhouse of a singer, and just brought us so much joy and so much great music. That's what I'm saying. That's what it's about. We're all trying to do that. So
yeah, let me ask you a personal question. Since you come from a community of music schools and students and universities, do you think that kids today, at least, I don't know, I feel in Brazil, kids are losing interest in learning instruments. When I was, I started, I am from 73. I started playing when I was 11. And when I was 11, all my friends had lessons or bands, or even if they didn't want to pursue a professional career, they all bought a guitar or got a guitar as a present. I don't see these things happening in Brazil today. I think that we have a problem with the education. We should have more music in schools. We don't have that. But I think in the US, it's completely different. But do you think it's somehow related to technology, maybe, or lots of kids are spending too much time on social media, or it's too easy for kids because they can do everything on their computer, so they don't need to learn an instrument? How do you see that? How can we change that, if you see that is a problem with that, with kids today? How do you see if it is a problem, and if it is, do you think we can do anything to change it? And yourself as a very important artist, what can we do to change that?
Well, it's interesting, because I think it's probably different in different, whatever part of the world, whatever country you're from. First of all, I did have a similar experience growing up where everybody played, like literally, like everybody in the neighborhood. There were bands everywhere. I don't know if it's like that now or not, obviously. But, there's sort of two sides to this. One of them is in the education system. Unfortunately, one of the first things to get cut is the arts, so that's something that, funding towards that stuff is really important. But on the flip side of that, the internet and Instagram and YouTube and everything has actually expanded the community. When I look out there, you can go on right now on Instagram or TikTok, whatever it is, and you could be scrolling through thousands of videos of people all around the world playing guitar and sharing stuff. So in a way, the community is actually much bigger, to me than it was. Whether or not those young people are in bands and playing around their neighborhood. I don't know. But certainly a good part of the social media aspect and the internet has been like the mass sharing of musical experiences and exposure that we just didn't have when we were younger, so that's a big change. But I do things like guitar camps. I do my John Petrucci's Guitar Universe. I think that events like that are important, to get young people involved and out there and learning. It still, to me, seems like there's a big interest specifically in guitar. There seems to be so many players, and the younger players are getting better and better and better. And it's scary. You see, an 8-year-old playing something incredible. So the bar just keeps raising. It's crazy.
Excellent. Thank you so much, John. And I really look forward to seeing you guys playing live. I'll try to be in Rio again. I'm from São Paulo. I'm going to São Paulo for sure for the show.
Okay.
The show in São Paulo for sure. Try to go to Rio. I hope we can meet in person. And thank you so much. Talking to Wikimetal right from the place where they took the photo of a view from the top of the world.
That's right.
Dream Theater's last album, Grammy winner. One of the greatest guitar players on the planet. Thank you so much, Mr. John Petrucci. It's always a pleasure, man.
Thank you. Great talking to you. It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.